Hey, my friend, this is Nestor Inomen from the MakeMoneyFromHomeDad.com, and I want to predict the future for a little bit. Because I see in the future that companies are only going to need 3 employees from now on. They're only going to need a dog, a human, and a computer. All right, and so the human's going to be there to feed the dog, and the dog's going to be there to make sure that the human doesn't touch the computer. Right? But all jokes aside, the reason I wanted to create this video is because it is a very important message, and I want you to listen up, and I want you to hear the whole thing, especially if you're an employee, because the future is looking like that. I mean, you look everywhere, and everything's starting to be automated. Right, everything. I mean, you go to your grocery store, and what are you starting to see now? You're starting to see that the cashier is being replaced by self-serving cashiers, where you yourself are the one who gets there, right? And you're starting to see a lot of other excuse me. You start to see a lot of other stores becoming like 24-hour stores or anything. Not because they're selling more, but because they're self-serving because of the computer. Right, so they don't need an employee to be there. They don't need to pay anybody, right? And the sad truth is that it is coming, and you have to prepare yourself, right? You have to prepare yourself. So if you are an employee, you have to see yourself in the future as like, can this job that I have right now be replaced by a computer? And don't fool yourself. Don't be like, oh no, there's no way they can replace me, or there's no way they can replace this job. Be honest with yourself. It's like, can they put an automation, right? For instance, if you're a driver, right? You've seen it already, right? I'm pretty sure you've seen those commercials where Amazon is starting to use drones. So now imagine yourself in the future where a drone is taking all these packages wherever they need to go, and no longer do they need a delivery driver. Okay, so what are you gonna do? What skill set do you have now to offer the world? Because the reality is, a lot of people think like, oh, I need a job, like give me a job, like they deserve the job or something. No, the only reason there is a job is because there is a demand for something, right? And in the past, that demand could only be filled by a human. But now that they can do it with a computer, because see, the reality is this: a computer would do it faster, more efficient, and more cost efficient as well. Right? We can't complain about this. If we didn't have systems, you wouldn't have cars, right? You wouldn't have cheap cars either. Not everybody would be able to afford cars. Henry Ford, that's what he did. Henry Ford is not the person who invented the car. See, a lot of people always say, oh, Henry Ford didn't invent the car. He invented the way to be able to manufacture it in such a cheap way that the masses could afford it. That's what he always used to say. You can get this car in any color you want as long as it's black. Why? Because it was efficient and fast. He couldn't get the time to be able to be, painting every single car, because then it would cost more. Right? Because his dream was to put it to the masses, right? So you gotta think like that. Is that it's not that it's unfair or this is that. It's just that we're advancing as a humanity, and there's 7 billion people out there. How can we take it out there? How can we put this product out there? And it's not only for the bottom line, but it's also for cost efficiency. See, a lot of people don't understand, when you haven't been in business, is that your cost can ruin your business, and then nobody can gain from it, right? So you, as an entrepreneur, you always have to be watching your bottom line, making sure that there's enough profit to be able to keep going, right? But here's the other thing: you have to figure out a way to put more value, because that's what it is. See, is that the more value you present your employer, the more value you present the world, the better pay you get. All right, it's the same thing. A lot of people complain about a CEO who makes millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars. Is like, why? Why? But look at the value that CEO is providing to the company, not necessarily to the community or the individual. It's just the company itself, right? If he made the company $500 million in profit, right? $1 million of those 500 million is not even that much, right? But he was the one who envisioned it. And I know maybe a lot of you might be getting mad right now because, oh, he's the employee. And yes, it's the employee, but there's only one of him and cannot be replaced. See, that's the thing. If you cannot be replaced that easily, you will start to get paid more. See, that's the truth about it. All right, that's what you gotta understand, is that how easily can you be replaced? If you can be replaced tomorrow, you can't expect to get paid tons of money, because then there's gonna be somebody else who can work for less money, right? And the other person also needs to pay their bills, needs to feed their family, right? So who's to say who's worth it? You, because you've been with the company for 10 years, 15 years or something, or somebody else. The other person needs to pay money, right? Needs to pay bills and feed their family as well, right? So if they're willing to work for less money, of course they're gonna go for the other person, right? So you gotta become valuable, all right? Another way you can do it is because there's two ways to make money. There's you trade time. You trade time, which most people, that's what they're doing. They're trading time because, and honestly, when you go to work, you're only trading time. Yeah, you're producing some value, but to be honest, watch. Of course, you'll get fired at the end of this process, right? But you can go for a day, don't do nothing, and you'll still get paid. How many times? Just think about it. Like me, when I was an employee, I slacked off. I'm not gonna be a liar. I slacked off a lot, right? And I still got paid for all that time that I slacked off. So how many times, so this mentality of like, I'm going to go to work and I deserve to get paid, is just an illusion that we all have because we're trading time for money. The other way to be able to generate money, excuse me, is by trading a service or a product for money, which hence the business, right? The business owners, that's what they're doing. So you got to choose which one you want. And when it comes to the trading a service or a product, the great thing is about that is that you determine how much you want to get paid. You determine. See, this is what happens. A lot of people get, as an employee, we get mad at the business owner. Oh, why do they make so much money? They're going to play money. Well, because they decided to say, hey, I'm not going to get paid to trade my time. I'm going to get paid to trade services or products so I can determine my own pay. So what they did is that they determined their own pay, right? And you have the same ability, you have the same opportunity to be able to do that, all right? It takes more effort, yes. It takes more, more learning, yes. You got to work more on yourself, right? And see, and that's why a lot of people are not willing to do. But if you're willing to do that, then you will determine everything. And see, here's the thing. It does determine time, more effort, more action to be able to do that, right? So when you get to make the amount of money that you decided to make, that's why you say, hey, I deserved it. I worked hard for my money, right? I put all this stuff together. I put this whole business together. Don't be a hater, right? And see, a lot of people hate on those people who make a lot of money. But hey, they worked hard for it too. Don't think they didn't, right? So what you gotta do is just work hard. But my friend, that's where the business is coming, okay? The prediction of the future is that if anything that could go digital will go digital. This was this famous, I forgot his name, but he predicted this back in the 70s or something. He said, anything that could go digital will go digital. What does that mean? Before, look, like music, right? Music was only being able to be, sang, and you can only hear music when it was live, right? But then the sonographs came on, and they were able to record it, right? And then that was analog. But then what happened? They created it into a CD, right? Still outside. But what happened? There's rarely CDs anymore. Everything is digital, right? So anything that is digital, like Blockbuster, right? Everybody was renting Blockbuster, closed down a bunch of little businesses. But what happened now? Redbox and Netflix totally destroyed Blockbuster, and now they're closing everything up. They went into bankruptcy. But what I'm trying to say is that it's because of digital. So just think about this stuff. Can you, if your job is gonna be replaced in the future, through a robot or some other means, don't stop complaining. Don't get mad. Because it's gonna happen anyways. You can complain until you're blue to the face. You can go and picket it, picket all day long. This is gonna happen. No matter what you do, you might delay it a little bit because you're picketing or something, because you're going out there and protesting, but it's gonna happen. All right? So what you gotta do is prepare yourself for the future. You gotta prepare yourself for the future. You gotta make sure that you put yourself in the best position ever, where you control your own destiny, you control your own future. All right? And the only way that I see it for real is trading services and products. Basically becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a business. Now, honestly, the truth is that before the 1900s, and in the 1800s and below, almost everybody was an entrepreneur. Everybody was either doing like some sort of trade, right? They were a farmer or a carpenter or something. They would create something and then they would trade it or sell it, right? Almost everybody was an entrepreneur until the industrial age came and they created this image of an employee, right? Because they needed employees, they couldn't do it themselves. So this employee mindset is actually a very, very new and little small version of the whole human history. Before this, everybody was almost an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs is just this. Entrepreneurs are, think about it, not as a business. It's not that difficult. An entrepreneur is just somebody who solves problems, right? They solve a problem. They see a need in the market. It's a problem, right? There's a need in the market, and they fulfill that need. That's all it is, right? Like carpentry. Somebody who's a carpenter, they see that people need furniture, so they create carpentry, right? They create tables and stuff like that and sell them. So that's kind of what it is. So you have to start relearning again how to become an entrepreneur. All right? So what I'm gonna do to help you out is that I'm gonna put a link on the bottom of this video. All right? It's gonna take you over to what I like to call a university of entrepreneurship. All right? It starts at a very low cost, but I suggest you do it because the community that you're gonna be able to tap into, they're not gonna give up on you unless you give up on yourself, which I really, really hope you don't. But here's the thing: this community will keep you motivated, will keep you going until you make it, until you get to wherever you want to get, to whatever income level you want to get, no matter how long it takes. All right? But you got to tap into it. And if you don't got a lot of money, that's okay, because it's a very low entry price. Like any business, you have to invest. And if you want to make more money, then you get the bigger education. All right? So all I want you to do is click on the link. It'll show you a free video about what I'm talking about. Don't wait. Don't wait, because the future is coming. And it's coming fast. You're starting to see it. You're starting to see pictures of McDonald's replacing all of their cashiers. Vending machines that sell everything, from DVD players to food to everything. So little by little, everything is being replaced. Don't be there when that happens. Be where you want to be and start to take control of your future. Okay? And don't worry. If you don't know what to do, just click the link below, watch the video, and then make a decision to change your future, take control of your future, and live into a better future. With that, my friend, this is Nestor Ninome from the MakeMoneyFromHomeDad.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this message, but I hope more that you implement and take action on this. Because I don't want you to be suffering. I want you to be living the life that you want to live and that you always dream, because you deserve it. You were born with everything you need in order for you to be successful. Don't fall into this whole thing about being poor, being this and that, or I'm not smart enough. No. You have the power. You have always had the power to be and do whatever you want to do. So with that, my friend, thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.